Hey there, everyone. I hope you guys are beating the heat just fine. As for me, I'm doing okay, I suppose. Who knows? Maybe where you're listening at, it ain't all that hot. Hell, you might even be cold as fuck, as far as I know. So, anyways, this video is me going over a website that I found about a week ago, maybe two. It's just kind of like this fun little thing to experiment with regarding the upcoming presidential elections here in the States. It is called 270 to Win. So for those of you who don't actually understand how the process works, different states represent a certain number of electoral votes. The candidates need to get 270 in order to win the presidential election. So this is just kind of some fun little interactive map of the U.S. in which you can pretend certain states are voting one way or the other. Accuracy is completely irrelevant with this because it's just you fucking around with it. I mean, you could have California vote Republican, which who knows when the fuck that happened the last time. But so anyways, this right here is, well, at least what it looked like when I first looked on the website. And as you can see, kind of in the area where the Gulf of Mexico is, there's a section to where you can select different types of maps. And one of them is like based off of what happened in 2000, or more accurately, all the election results since 2000, in which they've all stayed the same. So like in my neck of the woods, Washington and Oregon, they're both constantly blue because we've been voting Democrat in these two states for decades. And there's other things to look at as well. But this one here is the one that I felt like was probably the most accurate based off of how things are going thus far in the election process. And of course, a lot of it is speculation. But so, looking at what they have here, it's looking like Hillary's got quite a bit of a lead on Trump. But then again, there's a lot of states that are considered to be swing states. So who knows where the fuck those are going. To start with this, let's take a look at Nevada and Arizona. Basically going to be heading west to east, mostly because I feel like it's really on the east side where things are kind of a little iffy, at least in my personal opinion. So Nevada and Arizona, I think, are both going to go towards Trump, giving him a little bit more closer, 17 more points. Hooray, hooray. Now let's look at Nebraska, Iowa, and Missouri. Honestly, I think all three states will once again go towards Trump, finishing things off. So Trump's getting close to the 200 mark. Can he catch up to her? Maybe. Now we're going to look at Ohio, Georgia, and Florida. From what I've been hearing with different locations, I think it's fair to say that, at least as of now, they are all going to be leaning towards Trump as well. I mean, that's just, again, based off of things that I have heard that's being theorized. And who knows what the hell else is going to happen. I mean, you got Clinton's email scandals going on. I'm pretty sure it's going to piss off more and more people, especially if we hear more and more of the same type of illegal stuff that should have landed her in jail. The three remaining states, New Hampshire, Pennsylvania, and North Carolina. This is where things are going to get kind of iffy, at least with what I've been seeing and hearing so far. Let's focus on the one that has the least amount of points thus far, which is New Hampshire. Only a measly 4. I honestly see this one going in favor of Hillary Clinton, mostly because of the part of the country that this is in, the New England-ish area. They do tend to be left-leaning, so while yes, it is technically a swing state, at least from what I understand of this, I do think they're going to swing more towards Hillary. North Carolina is next on the list. You know, there's been a lot of interesting stuff going on in that state as of now. And I'm honestly thinking that with what has been happening, I think it's going to lean more towards Trump, honestly. Which leaves the state of Pennsylvania, the Keystone State, which, of course, their results are going to come out before the states on my side of the country because, you know, time zones and all that sort of bullshit. I don't like to say this, but I honestly think that it is going to go to Hillary Clinton. So with these numbers, Hillary Clinton would win the presidency. But there is a little something more. These 5 states, I have put yellow boxes on New Mexico, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Vermont. Based off of some other things that I have been hearing, plus with how certain citizen actions have been going and certain speeches I've been hearing, I could see these 5 states possibly moving to Trump. I'm not confident enough to where I'd be willing to change them right here and now, but I do think that it is worth noting that those could be different. I'd kind of say the same thing with Colorado, but I didn't really feel comfortable enough to do that with this. I still think that they're probably going to go with Clinton. So if we take away those 5 states, you see that now Trump has a very good-sized lead of 265 versus 229. And really, winning any of these states would give Trump the win, except for Vermont. So we're going to go ahead and play around with that idea. Oh, Trump got Vermont. So any of the other ones, Trump wins. If Hillary gets them all, she's at 270. So Vermont, no offense to those of you who are from Vermont, but not important enough to convince me that this would go more towards Trump. Now, I'm going to show you a little something that's just kind of for fun. Let's say nobody gets 270. Mathematically speaking, this could be a possibility. 269 for both candidates. For those of you who don't know how it works, there is already a system set up for something like this if it happens. And I think when they came up with it, if I remember my history correctly, they did that because there was a lot more than just 2 parties. So, according to archives.gov, this is a great site for looking up a lot of this kind of stuff. What happens if no presidential candidate gets 270 electoral votes? If no candidate receives a majority of electoral votes, the House of Representatives elects the president from the 3 presidential candidates who receive the most electoral votes. Each state delegation has 1 vote. So, Hillary, Donald, and whoever the fuck number 3 is going to be, that's going to be kind of an interesting concept to go with, considering how our system is currently structured. But, for shits and giggles, let's say it's Bernie Sanders. Those 3 will be voted on by, boom, the House of Representatives. According to clerk.house.gov, currently the party divisions rule in favor of the Republicans, 247 to 186 Democrats. And there's 2 vacancies, no independents. So unless 30 of the Republicans decide to betray their party because they don't like Donald Trump either, this type of a scenario, as unlikely as it is, would actually lean in favor of the Donald getting the presidency. So, yeah. Do I think it would happen? No. But it's nice to know that that is in place. So, anyways, go ahead and experiment with that website. It's kind of fun a little bit, especially since, there's a lot of things you can do with it. You can even set it up to where there is multiple candidates running, not just the primary 2. So, but anyways, I'm going to go ahead and finish things off with this, mostly because I don't feel like rambling, even though I've been doing a pretty good job of that so far. So, have a good night, and don't feed the squirrels.